The house was always quiet in the early mornings, a peaceful stillness that settled over everything before the world outside woke up. But in the nursery, a soft cooing sound would break the silence. Amelia, barely 9 months old, would open her eyes before the sun even touched the windows. Yet she was never the first to greet the day. Perched on the wooden stand beside her crib sat Lumi, a snowy white parrot with bright, intelligent silver eyes. Lumi had been a cherished member of the family long before Amelia was born. He was their boisterous, feathered friend, full of life and a bit of mischief. But from the very first day Amelia came home from the hospital, swaddled in soft blankets, Lumi seemed to understand that his world had fundamentally changed. His role had shifted. He had a new purpose. Every morning, without fail, Lumi would begin his gentle ritual. He would flutter down from his perch to the edge of the crib, landing with a quiet grace. He'd tilt his head, his silver eyes fixed on the baby as she stretched her tiny hands toward him. Amelia's fingers were small and clumsy, but they always reached for Lumi, as if he were the one constant, the one familiar thing in her brand-new, overwhelming world. And Lumi, he absolutely adored her. He would let out a soft, melodious chirp, never loud, never sharp, just enough to make Amelia giggle. The moment her sweet, innocent laugh filled the room, he would puff his white feathers proudly, as though her smile was the greatest reward he could ever earn. He reveled in her happiness, and it became his daily mission to bring it out. As the days turned into weeks and weeks into months, something magical, something truly special, began to grow between them. It was a bond that defied explanation, a silent language only the two of them understood. Whenever Amelia lay on her colorful blanket on the floor, Lumi would walk in small, careful steps around her. He started to mimic her sounds. If she babbled, a stream of nonsensical baby talk, he would babble right back in his own parrot way. If she clapped her hands together in a burst of delight, he would tap his beak softly on the wooden floor, as if he were trying to copy her tiny celebrations. Her mother would often find them just like that, the baby lying on her back, kicking her little feet in pure joy, and Lumi standing beside her like a patient, devoted guardian, a little white sentinel watching over his precious charge. But what fascinated everyone the most was how profoundly gentle Lumi had become. This was a bird known for his spirited personality, for being full of boundless energy. Yet, around Amelia, he transformed completely. His movements softened. His voice became melodic, almost like a lullaby. He would lower his wings when she crawled toward him, a clear and open invitation for her to come closer, assuring her he was safe. One beautiful afternoon, when golden sunlight streamed through the living room windows, Amelia sat wobbling on her little playmat, concentrating hard on staying upright. Lumi flew down from his perch and landed beside her. He was carrying something in his beak, a small, perfect white feather he had just plucked from his own wing. He dropped it gently onto her lap. Amelia looked down, her eyes wide with wonder. She picked it up, feeling its soft texture, then pressed it to her cheek with a contented sigh. From that day forward, Lumi brought her a feather every single morning. It was never forced, never a trick he was taught. It was a quiet gift, a daily offering, a sign of something deep and pure that had formed between them. It was his way of saying, "I am here. I am yours." Their bond grew even stronger as Amelia learned to stand. She would hold onto his perch, her tiny hands gripping the wood tightly as she tried to balance herself. And Lumi would stay perfectly still, almost statue-like, lending her the steady support she needed. He never flinched, never moved away. He was her anchor. Sometimes she would lose her balance and tumble onto the soft carpet. Before anyone could even rush to her side, Lumi would hop close, tilting his head, his silver eyes full of concern, checking to make sure she was okay. And every single time she looked at him, her eyes softened with recognition. She knew him. He wasn't just a bird, not just a pet. He was more. He was her companion, her comfort, her very first friend. One evening, Amelia just couldn't fall asleep. She cried softly in her crib, her little sobs echoing in the quiet house. Nothing seemed to calm her down. Hearing her distress, Lumi fluttered quietly into the nursery. He landed beside her crib and began to make the gentlest sound he knew, a soft, rhythmic whistle, slow and steady, like a peaceful heartbeat. Within minutes, Amelia's crying stopped. She turned her head toward the sound. Her little hand reached through the bars of the crib, seeking him out. Lumi pressed his head lightly against her tiny fingers, and her breathing slowed, becoming deep and even. She fell asleep with her hand still resting on him, a silent promise of comfort fulfilled. Lumi stayed right there beside her, a watchful guardian until the first light of dawn. As the weeks passed, the family noticed something extraordinary. Amelia didn't just enjoy Lumi's presence. She thrived in it. She laughed more often. She seemed to learn new things faster. She calmed down from her fusses more easily. And Lumi, in return, became even more affectionate, more expressive, as though loving this tiny human was now the very purpose of his days. Their story wasn't dramatic. It wasn't heroic or unbelievable. It was simply real. It was the quiet unfolding story of a baby discovering the world for the very first time. And a parrot discovering that love didn't need words to be understood. By the time Amelia learned to say her first real word, it wasn't mama or dada, as everyone had expected. One afternoon, while looking right at the parrot, she said a soft, joyful, unmistakable word, Lumi. And when she said it, the white parrot fluttered his wings and let out the happiest, most beautiful sound the family had ever heard him make, a triumphant melody that echoed through the house, warm and full of pure, unadulterated emotion. Their bond wasn't written in grand gestures or moments of survival. It was written in the little things, the tiny, quiet, precious moments that, when woven together, formed the most beautiful friendship imaginable. A baby and a white parrot. Two souls growing up together. Two hearts learning the profound meaning of love long before they understood anything else in the world. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more content.